Good morning everyone. Welcome everyone to Fit 5136 again. This is the week 2 and today we're gonna talk about the Agile project management in details. Okay, so last week for week 1 we already talked about what is the introduction to software engineering, the high level process. But now in real world scenarios, there are different types of the software development lifecycle models like waterfall, agile, that kind of thing. And for the agile, there are different framework that we can execute as well. Mainly the two agile framework, which is the Scrum and the Kanban. Okay, so today we're gonna dive into the details of what is the Agile project management, what are the principles, and the two frameworks here, Scrum and Kanban. What is the difference inside the Scrum methodology? There are lots of Agile ceremonies as well, and we're gonna talk about that. What is that? Okay. And this is just a recap for everyone, right? Because we decided the unit to follow the Agile Scrum project management. Right now, we are actually in the module 1 at the beginning, at the high level. And then for the rest of the semester, we're going to go through each of the steps throughout the 12 weeks, okay? Yep, so right now we're gonna talk about the Agile Scrum, but in general, all right. There are last week we talked about the core values, the 4 values of the Agile manifesto, okay. But today we're gonna talk about the 12 principles. What are the 12 principles here, right? So these are the key summary of the 12 Agile principles for the software development. The first one is that we focus on the customer satisfaction. We welcome the change requirement, we welcome the requirement change. We really want to focus on the frequent delivery of the working software, We communicate with the clients regularly. This is really the key important. It's not like, we had a meeting for the first week and then we see them again at the end of the year. Not like that. That's not really agile, okay? We support the team member. This is really important, right? Because we will not work alone. We will not work in silo, but we will work together as a team, okay? Face-to-face communication is really one of the key Agile manifesto, okay? Key principle of the Agile manifesto. And then measure the work progress, okay? So if we cannot measure it, we cannot improve things, right? So that's why we need to measure the progress. What is how many tasks that we have completed, how many tasks that are left, that kind of thing. We really want to focus on the development process, good design. We want to measure the progress. We continue seeking the results, and we often reflect and adjust regularly. This is really important. It's not like a one-off software development, but for each iteration, for each sprint, we will do like a reflective meeting to discuss what went well in the past, what can we improve better in the next meeting, okay? This is a key 12 Agile principles, right? And FYI, today we'll have the poll EV again, okay? So yeah, keep in mind, try to attend the lecture, try to understand the content, and then we'll do the poll lecture as well. So yeah, so this is a very good video that actually describe what is the 12 principles of the Agile manifesto. I'm gonna open this one and then yeah, we will discuss and brainstorm, all right? Okay, bear with me.
Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to stay updated with Knowledge Hut.
Hello and welcome to Knowledge Hut. In this video, we will be discussing the 12 Agile principles which are followed in Agile project management. But before watching this video, we recommend you watch our previous videos on the 4 values of the Agile manifesto, as those 4 values set the base.
This is the 4 values that we discussed last week, okay? Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Working software over comprehensive documentation. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Respond to change over following the plan, okay? This is what we discussed last week, yeah. But these are only the 4 values, but what are the principles to execute it? That's what we are going to learn today, okay?
For these 12 principles. Now that you are aware of the values of the Agile Manifesto, let us understand the 12 principles of the Agile project management. First principle. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. It's true that it takes a lot of time and effort to build a product, but at the end of the day, what makes a customer happy is a valuable working software. This is why the principle emphasizes on early and continuous delivery of the software. Second principle, welcome changing requirements even late in development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. Agile believes in empiricism. We become more knowledgeable when we have spent time working on something. In the beginning, we may have a lot of knowledge, but not as much as we have after the commencement of work. Similarly, our customers understand their needs even more clearly after seeing the increment provided by us. This is why this principle welcomes changing requirements from the customers so that the process remains empirical and the customer gets what is required to stay in the competition. Third principle, deliver working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference to the shorter timescale. This principle emphasizes on the frequent delivery of product, as frequent delivery helps the development process to be more agile. With frequent delivery, you mitigate the risks in your release, you get faster feedback from the customer, and hence you can bring changes in the product before it's too late.
Keep in mind, when we say working software, that means it is actually working. Okay, so it's not like an incompleted delivery of something. Okay, when we say working software, it means that the feature is actually delivered within the iteration, within the sprint, that kind of thing. Okay, yeah, there's no bug. All right.
Fourth principle, business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. This principle helps in keeping the business aspect and the technical aspect of the product to the same page. When business people and developers work together, they gain a common understanding of the direction towards which the project is moving. The development team also gets an end-user view from the business side. It brings transparency and fluency in the whole development process. Fifth principle, build projects around motivated individuals, give them the environment and support they need, and trust them to get the job done. This principle emphasizes on having motivated team members. When people are motivated to do their work, they produce results which can never be produced by people who are forced to get the job done. Therefore, give them the environment and support they need so that they can create superior products. Sixth principle, the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. Most of the communication in a project is about project process or project content. It is crucial for the success of the project that the development team understands the right information correctly. Written communication is prone to ambiguity, whereas face-to-face conversation provide the ground for prompt clarification and quicker communication. As a result, product development becomes faster and precise.
Subscribe to our
Sorry. So when we say face-to-face communication, it doesn't mean that everyone has to be on the same place. It can be like a Zoom meeting, but face-to-face we discuss with each other rather than the messaging tools, that kind of thing, This is especially important when you have like some conflicting opinions. Probably a meeting with the face-to-face communication is required. All right.
Seventh principle, working software is the primary measure of progress. As we know that working software is most valuable for the customer, the planning of construction of the product has no direct benefits for them until a working software is not given in their hands. Therefore, measuring of project's progress should be based on the actual working software. A software is not finished when it is successfully tested and delivered. It is finished when it is tested and accepted by the end user.
That's right. So working software is the primary measures of the progress. Okay, very important. And what it means is that, let's say when you develop something, you feel that, hey, I already finished, right? Probably it's not. It is only accepted. Okay, it is only we consider the features or the working software is finished only when it is tested and accepted by the end users. Because if you remember, when we talk about the waterfall, we have the unit testing until the acceptance testing, right? even if the functionality of the software system is actually correct, but it doesn't mean that it is accepted by the end user. Think about the calculator application, okay? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 9 and the plus minus button whatsoever, okay? Their functionality is actually correct, okay? Let's say, but if the button is all over the place, is that really usable? Is that really acceptable by the end user? Probably no. And should we consider the calculator app with the all over the place button as finished as a working software or not? Probably no, right? So, okay, working software, okay, is only considered as finished if it is tested and accepted by the end user, okay?
Eighth principle. Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. Software development is like running a marathon. You have to maintain the speed, but you shouldn't run so fast that you exhaust yourself. Similarly, sustainable development happens when you do constant production of software features during a long-lasting period. Ninth principle. Continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. Agile focuses on development of software like a craftsmanship, rather than just working on a regular task. Continuous attention to technical excellence and good design helps in bringing this craftsmanship to the project.
This is also really important, you know. Think about when you develop a big, like a large-scale complex software system, and then because when we use the agile process, right, we really have a short iteration, let's say 2 weeks, a sprint, we need to deliver something as soon as possible, right? But sometimes it's not really a good design at the beginning, but over time we should continue provide a continuous attention to the technical excellence. That means if this part of the code is not really well written, so maybe we should continuously improve the code, the design structure, that kind of thing, to promote the agility. And agility here, it also means that it is easier to maintain in the future as well, okay? So agility, the sustainable maintenance, that kind of thing, you know, they are the same, they are in the same direction, okay?
This craftsmanship to the project. 10th principle. Simplicity. The art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. More features makes a product more complex. Complex codes are difficult to test, maintain, and develop. Sometimes products have features which are so rarely used that their development and maintenance results in a negative ROI. Therefore, it is better to create a product which does a few things extraordinarily and is completely useful for someone rather than creating a software which tries to do everything.
Yeah, that's right. So let's say if you are working in the startup company, you know, probably you really want to focus what is the minimum viable product, right? MVP, okay? And then you probably should focus on the 3 key important features of the whole software system, okay? And think about, let's say if someone asks you to say like, you know, hey, can you develop a new e-commerce system, that kind of thing, okay? But then there's a key features around the e-commerce, online shopping, whatsoever, right? But some of the developers may want to focus on the registration system, the customer login, that kind of thing. But is that the key feature? Probably no. Does it really demonstrate the key functionality of the e-commerce software system? No, as well, right? So probably what you want to focus is about the shopping cart, that kind of thing. That's the feature that you really want to focus on, okay? Simplicity. 3 key main features that you really want to highlight as part of the software system, right?
Does nothing extraordinarily and is not useful to anyone. 11th principle. The best architectures, requirements, and designs emerge from self-organizing teams. A self-organizing team is one that does not depend on or wait for others to assign work. Instead, these teams find their own work and manage the associated responsibilities and timelines. They take on the responsibility of choosing the most effective and efficient way to complete their work, and regularly look for ways to improve through experimentation. While self-organizing teams don't require a manager to assign work, set deadlines, and so on, they do require a mentor who can help grow their skills. Having self-organizing team promotes collaboration, teamwork, competency, regular growth, motivation, and commitment. And hence, the best architecture, requirements, and designs emerge from such teams. The 12th principle. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. Agile encourages continuous improvements and productivity. When a team reflects on how to become more effective and adjusts its behavior accordingly at regular intervals, it brings continuous improvement in itself and increases its productivity. So these were the 12 principles of Agile. We hope this video helped you in taking your knowledge in Agile further.
That's right. So the last one, the 12th principle, okay? So it is really about the sprint retrospective, that kind of thing. We will talk about that as well. So at the end of the sprint, as I mentioned to you before, we will discuss within the team, what went well in the past, what can be improved in the future, that kind of thing, okay? And let me think. There are lots of questions in the quizzes. I'm thinking whether should I start now or I'm gonna continue. Okay, maybe I will continue a little bit more, and then we will do some poll EV. Okay, poll everyone. All right. And to manage the project successfully and effectively, right? There are the 3 constraints that we actually need to think about and consider. Let's say as a project manager, okay? We need to make sure that the cost is actually minimal. We cannot spend $100 million to develop just a piece of software, that kind of thing, okay? So we need to minimize the cost. And with the shortest amount of time as well, we cannot spend time, let's say 10 years to develop just one piece of software, because right now we in the fast-moving world, fast-paced moving world. The world changed a lot, so we cannot, we need to reduce the software as soon as possible as well. And everything is really depends on the scope, okay? The scope is what are the features, what are the key functionalities that we want to prioritize to be the first thing that we want to implement, that kind of thing, okay? So the cost, the time, and the scope, these are the 3 triple constraint, or people call iron triangle of the project management, okay? And we need to balance this kind of thing, okay, all together to ensure the successful completion of a software project. All right. And as I mentioned to you before, scope is really about what are the things that need to be done, what are the features, what are the functions. You need to break it down. Once you define a very good scope, right, then you can commit to the plan, commit to the timeline really well as well, okay? And this is something that you need to consider whenever the scope increase, it will impact the other 2 constraints, which is time and the cost, right? Let's say today we have 10 functionalities that need to be done within the sprint, but later on we need to change, we increase the scope, we have 5 more features that we need to implement, that kind of thing, it will impact the time. Maybe software engineers have to work overtime, and then it will as a business owner, we need to pay them more as well. So that means it impacts the time and the cost, all right? And yeah, so when we talk about the scope, right, there are different elements of the scope. It includes, it's not just about the amount of work, okay, or the numbers of the features that we need to implement, but it's about the complexity of that feature as well. What is the quantity of the finished product? How the output quality look like? Are we going to have an excellent UX UI design in a super detail or not, that kind of thing, okay? What is the strength of the software application? Does it mean that within the first iteration we're gonna have the working software that actually can serve million or 100 millions of users, right? So is that the first priority or not? This is something that we need to define the scope really well, okay? And levels of detail, the number and the complexities of the features, that kind of thing, okay? That's the scope. That's a part of the scope. But now we're gonna talk about the time, okay? So the time is actually the time frame when you have a contract with the customer. We already commit the time that, hey, look, we're gonna finish everything by half a year, and then that's the time frame that we have. Then we need to prioritize the project, right, to make sure that we can actually deliver everything on time. And that means we need to break it down into the sprint. For each of the sprint, what are the things that we need to deliver, that kind of thing. So that's the effect, okay, and how many people that we need to complete that sprint as well, okay. So that's the time, okay. And when we talk about the numbers of people, numbers of the man hours, numbers of the software engineers, it will related to the cost as well. That's the budget of the software projects, right? So these are the three key triangles that we need to consider during the project management, or when we develop the budget, that kind of thing, okay. This is at the beginning of the software project, all right. Now this is a common problem, right? It's called scope creep, okay. What does it mean? So scope creep, these are the four causes. And first, when you have a meeting with the customer and you don't define the project scope clearly, it's not really detailed, you know, it will lead to the scope creep as well. And let's say if you have a poor project management, you have a poor communication skill between the stakeholder of the project, that kind of thing. And if there are some consistency in managing the change in the project scope, that kind of thing, it will lead to the scope creep, okay. But what is the scope creep, okay? It means that it is the gradual expansion or the uncontrolled changes in a project scope, okay, beyond the initially agreed upon boundaries, okay. When you start the software project, right, you sign a contract. This is what we need to do, and then one day the customer tell you that, hey, look, you know, can we increase this? Or if you don't think the define scope, project scope in details, right? And then later on you need to say, oh yeah, we forget to implement this one. We need to do it, right, as part of the commitment. So that's a scope creep, you know. Let's say, go back to the original example again. We're gonna develop the e-commerce, okay. We already come up with the features. Okay, we have the login feature, we have the online shopping, blah, 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 whatsoever. And then later on, we forget to, and then we already signed a contract. And then let's say this is $1 million project, okay. Now, later on, we discover that, hey, look, oh, we forget, we need to connect to the external libraries API, like the payment gateway. We need to handle the credit card, WeChat Pay, Line Pay, you know, PayPal, Pay ID, or whatsoever. And then that becomes like the extra cost, extra features that we actually need to implement, okay? And it is actually beyond the initially agreed upon boundaries, okay? Does it make sense, everyone? This is the scope creep that we really need to avoid, and we need to be aware in advance as well, okay? All right, that's the scope creep, okay? Half an hour passed, and then maybe we're gonna run some poll, okay, to run some quiz. All right, so can everyone go to pollev.com/fit5136, okay, pollev.com/fit5136, and I am going to move here, present, yes, instruction, yes, okay, yep. The first question here is that, according to the Agile Manifesto, right, what should be the primary measure of the progress? I already talked about that, okay, during the lecture. According to the Agile Manifesto, okay, the 12 principles, that one, what should be the primary measure of progress? Today we have nearly 50 students attend, so I should look for a good number, all right? So we have 19 students answer already. Can we have a little bit more? You need to be quick, all right? There's nothing right, nothing wrong. This is about testing yourself, whether you actually understand the concept of what we have taught or not, right? So, this is an opportunity. There's nothing to consider that this is a mistake, or if you get the wrong answer, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's about learning. All right, 30 now. Okay, maybe next time I should put like a what is that, the time limit. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna review the answer. What should be the answer? I think the primary measure of the progress should be the working software. Okay, let's see the response. Will we get 100% or not? No. Okay. No, don't change the answer. Come on, everyone. You're funny. Okay. Yeah, so it should be the working software, right? What happened is that the measure of the progress should not be the documentation, because it's not part of the Agile anyway. Comprehensive documentation is really waterfall, right? It's not really Agile. Agile focus on the measure of the focus on the working software rather than the comprehensive documentation. That is the first Agile value. Do you remember? Following the plan, no, that's not really about the progress, because Agile Manifesto, we adopt the requirement change. No, we welcome the change anyway. So it doesn't need to strictly follow the plan. That's the really waterfall, not the Agile. Okay? Meeting the deadlines, but it's not about the progress. Deadline is just the timeline anyway. So it's not about the progress. The Agile Manifesto, okay, the primary measure of the progress is actually the working software. All right, thank you. Let's go. Move to the next one. Next. Okay. Which principle of the Agile Manifesto emphasize the importance of the self-organizing team? Okay, self-organizing team means that you are yeah, what is I nearly tell you the answer. Okay. Which principle of the Agile Manifesto emphasizes the importance of the self-organizing teams? What is that? Okay, all right. So let's take a look to see the answer. Which principles of the Agile Manifesto emphasize the importance of the self-organizing team? Okay. Yep. Let's take a look at the response. Okay. Yep. That's right. That's the correct answer. Okay. It should be about the build projects around motivated individuals, give them the environment and support they need, and trust them to get the job done. That's what I already mentioned in the lecture slide. Okay, it's not about the business people. Developers must work together daily. They don't need to work daily, but they need to communicate frequently. It is different. Okay, we really don't need them every day. Okay. Deliver working software frequently with a preference to the shorter time scale. That's the part of the Agile Manifesto, but it's not really about the self-organizing team. Okay, change requirement event-led in development. That's the Agile Manifesto, but it's not about the self-organizing team. Self-organizing means that each individual is self-motivated. They know what they need to do, and then as a project owner, project manager, we just give them the environment and support they need. Okay. All right, next. Okay, in the Agile in the Agile Manifesto, what is the value more than the contract negotiation? What is that? what is value more than the contract negotiation? Okay, in the meantime, we got a question. How can we encourage acceptance of the change? Yeah, how can we encourage or adopt a requirement change by using Agile at the same time? We need to avoid the scope creep as well, right? This is a very good question, you know. But what I would say is that it is interrelated, but it's not the same thing. Okay, when we talk about the scope creep, that's a very good question. So I would say that, you know, if I were the project owner, okay, or the head of the development team, that kind of thing, we can embrace change, okay, but we need to negotiate as well. It's not like, hey, today we need an online shopping, online e-commerce system. Tomorrow we want a payment gateway platform, that kind of thing. That's way too much, right? So it is actually go beyond the scope at the beginning. So we need to, you know, we adapt the requirement change, we embrace, but it's not like a totally change. It's not like that. Okay, so we need to have some boundaries. What can be changed, what cannot be changed. Yeah, we need to, it's about the negotiating skill. Okay, and this is like to avoid the scope creep as well. And when we do the project scoping, what we mean is that we need to define the scope in detail as much as possible, right? So that means we can do the budgeting in a more accurate way rather than just like a rough estimate, you know. And then when we should have some buffer to allow to accommodate the requirement change, that kind of thing as well. Okay, does it make sense? Yeah. So if I were a project owner or do the project budget, right, I would say that this is the estimate scope. Okay, this is the defined scope. We estimate that it should take like 100K to be done, but we should add some additional buffer as well. Let's say 50%. So when we quote the customer, it should be like 150K. This is a general rule of thumb, you know. Okay. Yep, let's see the answer for this one. In the Agile Manifesto, what is value more than the contract negotiation? Okay, what is that? Should be the customer collaboration. That's right, 43. Responding to change. Nah, not really responding to change, okay? If you go back to, you know, it is responding to change over following a plan. All right, but here we talk about what is that? Not this one. 1, 2, 3. Is that 4? Nope. 3. Okay. So what is value more than the contract negotiation? What is that? Customer collaboration. All right. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Okay, the first choice. Make sense, everyone? Yeah. Okay, next. Yeah. What are the 3 constraints in project management commonly represented as a triangle? Okay, what is that? This is a very easy one. Okay, so we have 39 response now. I'm gonna review the answer. It should be time, cost, and the scope. We should get 100%. Not yet. 88. Okay, we are nearly there. Don't worry. Okay, yeah. So that's the right answer. Okay, it should be the time, cost, and the scope. As I mentioned at the beginning here. Okay, time, cost, and the scope. That's a triangle of the project management. Okay. All right. Next, what is that? Yep. Okay. In project management, what does the term scope creep refer to? Okay. What is that? Oh. Sorry. Okay. Yep, so we're gonna see the response. This is also easy as well. Okay, the answer should be C. Okay, because as I mentioned, what does the term scope creep? Okay, let's go back to where here. It's about the additional features or the change to the scope, right, beyond the initially agreed boundaries. Okay, so that means the choice C is the right answer. Okay, unauthorized changes or additions to the project scope. Okay, this is actually beyond the boundary, the initially agreed boundary. Okay. All right, next. Yep. Okay, next is about the Scrum. Okay, maybe let's wait a little bit and then we're gonna talk about that. What is the Scrum? All right. Okay, this is a scope creep. Yep. Yeah. Just a summary. Okay, so in the first half an hour, we talk about what is the 12 principles of the Agile Manifesto. We talk about the project management, the triangle. That's the key point. Cost, time, and the scope. All right, remember that. And then we talk about the scope creep. And then it is actually bad for everyone. Okay. Yeah, it's not good for anyone at all. And then how can we manage the project effectively? Now we're gonna talk about the two frameworks. Okay, Scrum and the Kanban. Okay. Yep, let's start with the Scrum. Okay, but before we move on, another question in the Zoom chat. But if the changes were not authorized, that means we would not be considering them, right? Yes, of course, right? So yeah, I mean, I think this is part of the project manager who has to deal with the business people, whether we're gonna embrace this kind of change or not, right? Whether we're gonna authorize the change or not. It doesn't mean that we need to follow everything that they ask, we need to negotiate. Yeah. Then how does it add to the scope creep? Scope creep, I think it will happen. Let's assume that there's no additional change. Okay, but I would like to go back to this slide. Okay, these are the 4 causes of the scope creep. That means when the project manager didn't define the project scope clearly. Okay, as I mentioned to you before, let's say if we want to develop the e-commerce system, we sign the contract, we're gonna get everything executed, implemented, but then later on, 5 weeks later, we need to implement the payment system as well. We forget to include that in the budget. That's the scope creep, because in the initial scope, we didn't define that one at the beginning. Okay. How is scope creep different to meet the customer need? It is different, right? I don't know how to answer this one. Okay. We need to meet the customer need, okay, of course, but this is about the project management. It doesn't mean that, let me put this way, okay. Initially, when we negotiate a contract, right? So we need to have the strict timeline. This is what we need to deliver. They sign the contract. When we sign the agreement, it should not be changed, right? Okay. But with the Agile project management, we can adapt change, but should be like a minimal change, you know. It's not like, as I mentioned to you before, it's not like, yeah, we signed the contract, we want the e-commerce system, but tomorrow, no, I want the payment gateway system. So that's a totally change. This is like a not acceptable change, you know. As a project manager, you need to have like a very excellent negotiating skill and some reasonable, you know, to decide whether this is a acceptable change or not acceptable change, you know. And it doesn't mean that we need to meet the customer need all the time, because as I mentioned to you, today they need the e-commerce, but tomorrow they want like a payment gateway system. That's a totally different system. If we do that, what is the purpose of having the agreement signed? You know, that's when we sign the agreement, that's a legally bind. Okay, there's a law to support. Okay, yep. Does it make sense, everyone? But I would say that for the scope creep here, let's assume that there's no change in the requirement. There's no additional features required by the customer, that kind of thing. Okay, scope creep can still be potential. Okay, because as I mentioned to you before, if you don't manage the project effectively, that could be the scope creep. If you don't define the project scope effectively, that could be the scope creep as well. You know what I mean? Okay. I hope it is okay. Then I'm gonna move on to the what is the Scrum. All right. Okay. All right. So this is a Scrum framework. All right. And there's a cartoon here, so I'm gonna go through one by one, right? In real world scenarios, you know, in a complex work, more is unknown than known. So that means most of the time we really don't know. Let's say we want to develop the e-commerce system. What are the features? No one knows, okay? And the unknown is discovered by releasing done increments early and often, you know, because we don't know anything. That's why we want to release, you know, the done. It means that the working software often, okay, regularly. And with these increments, we validate the assumptions. So my assumption is that probably the e-commerce should have this, should have that. But when we have the working software, we can decide whether we should have it or not, okay? And we learn what is needed and avoid the risk of spending time and money on the wrong things, right? That's why we have, for the startup environment, rapid prototype, we need to fail fast, okay? Fail as soon as possible, so we know what went wrong, what should be avoided, what should be done, right? As a result, we deliver more values to our customers sooner, you know, because we fail fast, you know, we can improve things incrementally, all right? That's the key idea of why we need the Scrum framework. And the Scrum, it means that it's like a short iteration, incremental period, working sprint, you know, and then you Scrum, like work all together in a sprint, yeah, like run like really fast, you know. That's a key idea of why they call Scrum. Okay, so at the beginning, maybe I'll try to get the annotation. Okay, at the beginning here, all right. Stakeholder, this is the business people, all right, they need to discuss with the team, okay, to define what is the product goal. Product goal, we want the best online shopping system that is really, you know, to serve millions of users whatsoever. And then once we have the goal, we need to develop the vision. What are the key features? Break them down into the product backlog. What are the things that need to be done? Okay, these are the product backlog. Have a meeting to refine the product backlog. All right, and then once we know what are the to-do lists, okay, at the beginning of the sprint, okay, at the beginning of the sprint is called sprint goal. Why I cannot oh. Wait. Yep, at the beginning of the sprint, okay, so Scrum work as a sprint. At the beginning of the sprint, they need to define, okay, do the sprint planning, define what is a sprint backlog. Within the 2 weeks, what are the things that need to be done? We cannot complete everything. We're gonna select some of the backlog, some of the items in the backlog as part of the sprint backlog, right? But at the same time, they must have the goal, okay? Within 2 weeks, what is the goal? This is what we need to complete, all right? And every day, okay, there's a daily scrum, they're gonna have a meeting. This is our sprint goal. These are the things that we need to do, okay? What have been done? What are you doing at the moment? What have been done, that kind of thing, and whether it is completed or not. You need to define what is the definitions of done, okay? For each of the backlog, you should have the definitions of done, and the done here, it means that it's not just about, you know, as I mentioned to you before, it's not just finish the implementation, but it should be tested. It should pass the acceptance criteria. The user accept that feature, you know. So that then it becomes the then you can consider it as a definition of done. All right, that's a daily scrum, right? And once you at the end of the sprint, you know, let's say this is a 2-week sprint, then you have another meeting, okay, to discuss what has been done, okay? That's the box, you know, the package that you want to deliver to the stakeholder. All right, once you finish the sprint, then you have a sprint retrospective meeting. As I mentioned to you before, what have been what went well in the past, what can be improved in the future, okay? And as part of the Scrum team, okay, there are 3 main roles here, okay? This is the Scrum team, the product owner, the developers who develop the products, and the Scrum Master who facilitate the Scrum process, okay? So the key question that I want to ask you is that whether the Scrum Master develop anything or not. In reality, probably no, okay? Because the Scrum Master is an expert in the Scrum who facilitate the team. This is especially important in the at the beginning of the projects, or for software companies who just start the Agile project management, okay? So we need a Scrum Master who is an expert, you know. He will participate in every meeting, you know, every meeting, to facilitate the Scrum process, to drive the meeting, you know, that kind of thing, okay? But at the same time, the product owner, right, she also appear at the beginning of the sprint and at the end, okay, at the sprint review and at the sprint retro, to discuss whether it's like a project manager, okay, product owner. She owns the product. She is the person who act as a person in between developers and the customer, okay? They need to deal with the stakeholder. That's the purpose of the product owner. All right. Okay, I think I explained everything about the Scrum framework. Any questions so far? Okay. Oh, we got a question. Is Scrum Master is delivery manager? Yes, you are right. I mean, some companies, they call Scrum Master as a delivery manager as well. Yeah, it really depends. That's right. Yeah. Different organizations have different job title, you know. They call delivery manager. This is probably as part of the HR for hiring, because the role Scrum Master doesn't exist in real world, you know. It is just like the name as part of the Scrum framework, yeah. But it's not the real job as part from the HR perspective, yeah. Okay. All right, that's all for the Scrum framework. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Yeah, and as I because this figure it explained everything already. So the next one I will just give a quick summary in a quick one. Okay, so what is a Scrum? Scrum again, It is an iterative incremental framework for project and product management. Okay, if you want to learn more, you just go to the scrumprimer.org. This one, okay, it's not a programming method. It's not even specific to IT. We can use the Scrum for other industry sector as well. Okay, it is just about how do we organize the groups of people to deliver something in the time, okay, within the time frame. Okay, yeah, this one, the key idea of the Scrum, as I mentioned to you before, you need to engage with the stakeholder, identify the product backlog, that's the requirement, and then it's not the one-off activity. You need to gradually refine the product backlog with the customer over time. See this one, product backlog refinement. I'm gonna highlight where's the annotation. Yeah, draw. Okay, this is a backlog refinement. Okay, over time you need to do that. Yep. And at the start of each iteration, the sprint, okay, the team collectively decide how much the product backlog they will implement. This go into the sprint backlog. Yeah. Yep. And what is that? And the team implement the feature. This is during the sprint. They start implementing something. They have the daily stand-up meeting. Yeah. To discuss what everyone is up to and who is in need of help. That kind of thing. And after the sprint, we do the product review. This is conducted by the product owner. They're gonna check whether this is actually done or not, before they deliver or present to the customer or the stakeholders. Okay, and then as I mentioned to you before, we need to have the retros meeting, the sprint retrospective, to discuss, how can we make our process more efficient. That the two key questions: what went well in the past? How can we improve things better, okay, in the future? All right, and the team, right? The team, there are first a Scrum Master who facilitate the Scrum process, and we have the product owner who act as a business analyst, deal with the stakeholders, customer, that kind of thing, negotiate the features, blah blah blah, define what is the product goal, what is the vision, what are the backlogs, that kind of thing that need to be done. And the team members, this is like the development team, okay, software engineers who has to do both implement and the testing. All right, and yes, we need to have the client or the customer, that's the stakeholders. Okay, and we can also have like other people in the organizations as well, like senior management, executive, whatsoever. All right, so Scrum Master is not the project manager. They actually don't manage the project, but the key goal, as I mentioned to you before, is to facilitate the Scrum process, right? So the key big difference here is that it helps the team to reach the consensus rather than making any decisions. Okay, and yeah, so as a Scrum Master, we need to is like a servant leadership type. We try to help people rather than commanding, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. Not like that. Basically, it's the Scrum Master is more like a facilitator. Try to facilitate people, help people. Okay. Yep. Servant leadership, what does it mean? It means that leadership and organizations are services that the Scrum Master provide to the project, right? So the Scrum Master try to support the decisions of the team, the product owner, rather than issuing the commands. That's a very important one. They try to help team understand the Agile, the Scrum principles, how they impact the team activities, how should we organize the sprint activities, the product review, organize the meeting, that kind of thing, okay? And help the product owner manage the backlog. What do they need to do? Yeah, is to make sure that each of item in the product backlog, we need to maximize their values, okay? Yeah. Okay. And the word facilitate means that to make everything is easy. Okay, it's not like so Scrum Master should not make things more difficult, otherwise it will be at a bad role, okay, you know. And Scrum Master should make the collaboration easy, you know. Scrum Master need to be able to facilitate the interactions, meeting, make sure everybody's voice is heard, stimulate the discussion if it flags. They try to prevent discussion from degenerating into argument, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, again, facilitation, Scrum Master, they need to have this kind of skill, okay. Yep. Once we the Scrum Master is done, okay, next is the product owner. So the product owner is responsible for deciding the content of the product backlog, define what is the product goal, what is the product vision, make sure that we prioritize the backlog that actually maximize the values, okay. Okay. Yep. The question, the product manager looks not in the picture in the sprint or Scrum. No, because the product manager, the project manager is not the official role in the Scrum framework. Okay. In the Scrum, they call product owner. Okay. They don't call project manager. But I would say that it is interrelated. Product owner has to manage the project, manage the product as well. When you call project manager, sometimes they just manage the project, but they don't care about the product, that kind of thing. They in Agile, they use the term product instead of the project because, you know, to align with the Agile manifesto. We focus on the working software products, okay? You know, that's why they call product owner rather than the project manager, yeah. Okay, next, product owner. Yep, product owner. Yep, they are responsible for maintaining the product backlog. Okay, that's a product owner. And the team members, that's the software engineers. Okay, the software developers who manage, who develop or implement the tasks based on the backlog that they have. Okay, and Agile team should be cross-functional. That means it's not just about the coder or the tester or the designers. Agile team they should be like, you know, like a full stack software engineer. They should be able to do everything. All right, and there's no formal structure. The team decide collectively who will do what on each sprint. Okay, what I mean is that in the waterfall, all right, waterfall, the organization is really like in the department, you know, this is a QA, okay, and this is the dev, that kind of thing, and this is the BA team, okay, and they don't talk with each other, all right. But in the Agile team, we have like this person, you know, who can work as a dev, as a software tester, who can work everything, right? They work as a team. And the BA role, this is more like a Scrum, as a product owner instead, okay? Yeah, so, you know, and dev, the QA, they need to do both, okay? All right. Does it make sense? Yeah. So this is like a product owner, yeah, who do the QA, but they work interactively with the team. And the PO will work in will discuss interactively with the stakeholder. Okay, that's the Agile. Yeah, here is the waterfall. Okay, this is the Agile. All right, crystal clear, everyone. Yes, can someone say yes in the Zoom chat? What is the DM? Where's the DM? Let me think. Where's the DM?
So I'm trying to know, like, where's the delivery manager in this diagram?
Okay. You mean delivery manager. So,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for your question. Yeah, this is the Agile team. Okay, as I mentioned to you before, there are 3 roles in the Agile team: the product owner, okay, the dev team, and the Scrum Master here, who facilitate the project. And the delivery manager is often here. It is often the Scrum Master role. Okay, that's the delivery manager. Yeah. All right, thank you. Okay, yep. Team members, silos. Yeah, so in Agile, we will not work in silo. All right, we work as a team, cross-functional team. We work everything together, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now, whew, back to the poll everywhere. The fun part, where are we? Okay, everyone knows the activity is now locked, unlock, and then present. Yep. Go to the pollev.com/fit5136. Who are the 3 roles defined in Scrum? Okay. Drop the link in the chat. Yes, definitely, sir. pollev.com/fit5136. This Scrum owner, okay, we call Scrum Master or the product owner, not the Scrum owner. Looks like the boss secretary to me. Yep. Okay. Should not be hard, yeah, for this question, you know. Alright, can we try to get the 40 response and then we're gonna move on, yeah. Review the answer. We want active participation from everyone, okay? Yep. Yeah, try to get 40 response. Thank you. Okay, so maybe I will review the answer now. I'm aware of the in terms of the time. Yep. So the answer should be choice C: Scrum Master, Product Owner, and Development Team. All right. That's the 3 roles defined in the Scrum. Yep. Okay. Next. What is the primary responsibility of the product owner in Scrum? Product owner. Okay. What do they do? PO. What is the right answer? What is the primary responsibility of the product owner in Scrum? Okay, let's see the answer, the response. The answer, yes, should be C. Okay, they try to maximize the value of the product and the work of the development team, right? Because a product owner manage the product backlog, define the product goal, that kind of thing. Okay, it's not about the budget. It's not about to facilitate the Scrum events. That's the Scrum Master role. Okay, write code and develop features. That's the dev team. All right. Okay. What is the purpose of a sprint in the Scrum? Okay. What is that? What is the purpose of a sprint in Scrum? sprint, to plan the entire project, to review the project progress, to gather the requirements, or to create a potentially shippable product increment. Okay, so easy. It's not hard at all. Just to check your understanding, right? And you know, you are the 45 students who attend the lectures, the lucky people who learn a lot today, I would say. Okay, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna review the answer very soon. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Be quick! Okay, all right. Respond. Correctness. Yeah, so the answer should be D dog. All right. Are we getting? Oh no. Okay. The purpose. Why everyone changed the answer? Too funny. Okay. So to plan the entire project, right? So it's not about the sprint. That's the at the beginning of the Scrum. Okay. We need to plan the entire project. You know. We define the product backlog, that kind of thing. Okay, so to review the project progress, that's the daily sprint review. Okay, but it's not the main purpose of the sprint in the Scrum, right? Is that the main purpose of the sprint to review the progress but don't do anything? No, right? Agile actually values the working software, so that's why we focus on create a potentially shippable product increment in a sprint short iteration. Incremental. Yeah. All right, and of course not to gather the requirement, we need to do that from the beginning. Okay, all right, next one. What is the durations of a typical sprint in Scrum? Yeah, what is the duration of a typical sprint in Scrum? Okay. Next week, I will try to see whether I can set up the poll EV as a speedy quiz or not, right? And maybe I'll try to see we can set up like a leaderboard, that kind of thing, and to see who is the champion of that week for each week, you know. Okay. And maybe I will try to give you some prize. All right, okay, 30 response, and yep. Let's see the results. What is the durations of a typical sprint in Scrum? Should be 2 weeks. Yeah, easy. Yep, 2 weeks. Okay, is a short iteration increment. You know, 1 month is quite long. Okay, so 2 months is nearly impossible. It's not a short iteration anymore. All right, so commonly it is a 2 week sprint. Yep. Next. Who is responsible for removing obstacle or impediment that affects the development team progress? What is that role? Who are they? Remove the obstacle or impediment that affect the development team progress. Okay. Let's see the result. What is the right answer? Okay, should be the Scrum Master. Thank you. Okay, everyone got it right. That's the main purpose of the Scrum Master. Facilitate the team, act as a facilitator with a servant leadership style. You know, that kind of thing. Okay. Yep. All right. Next. Yep. What is the purpose of the sprint review in Scrum? Okay. Sprint review. So what happened is that sprint review. This one is a little bit tricky, you know, but I want to see whether you can get the right answer or not. Okay, I'm gonna review the answer now. The answer should be, yeah. Okay, so the purpose of the sprint review is to inspect the work complete during the sprint with the stakeholder. Yeah, that's right. Not to discuss the progress of the project with the stakeholder. No, not like that. Okay, when should we discuss the progress of the project with stakeholder? When? When is that? Go back to this one. So in the Agile ceremony, okay, the Scrum, we have sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and the sprint retrospective. Okay. Yeah. And the question here is, what is that? This one? No? Oh, sorry. Typical. What is the purpose of the sprint review in Scrum? Is here, okay? Sprint review. So if you can see here, you have the stakeholder as part of the sprint review as well. So basically you present and demo the product to the stakeholder, and once and then after the meeting you do the sprint retrospective to discuss within the team, okay, that what went well in the past, what can be improved in the future, okay. But my question here is that to discuss the progress of the project with the stakeholder, well, I mean, technically yes, I mean can be part of this as well, okay, because it is with the stakeholder, but it's not really the progress, okay. Basically it should about the inspect the work complete rather than the progress, okay. To plan the next sprint, what it should be, plan the next sprint should be sprint planning, all right. To review the product backlog, that should be the daily Scrum, okay. We look at the sprint backlog, product backlog, that kind of thing, okay, to see how can be improved, okay. All right, next one. What does the development team do during the sprint retro? Okay, what did they do during the sprint retro? Any response? No.
I think you didn't start the question.
Pardon? What did they do? I need to activate? Yeah, like this? Okay. Okay. Thank you. What does the development team do during the sprint retro? What does the development team do during the sprint retro? Okay, review the product with stakeholder. No. Review the sprint progress and discuss ways to improve. Yeah. Plan the next sprint. No, that's a sprint sprint review. Review the product backlog and prioritize item. No. Okay. So the answer should be B-boy. No. Wait. Let's see the correct. Yeah, B-boy. Okay, 92% of the student get it right. Thank you. Next one. What? Okay, this is about Kanban. Okay, 1 second. And yeah, I'm gonna move on to the Kanban. Whew. Okay. Where are we? the Kanban. Okay, Kanban. Kanban is actually another agile framework, you know. It is interrelated to the Scrum, but it's not the same. And yep, so we're gonna see what it is. Okay, Kanban is a framework originated in 1950 in Japan, and it is previously used in the Toyota production system. And with the goal of the lean manufacturing, we want to ensure the just-in-time production, you know. And Kanban is actually a pull system, but the key goal of the Kanban is to visualize the workflow, the card of the tasks, that kind of thing, you know, whether this is in the to-do list, whether it is doing, it is done, and that kind of thing, you know. The key goal is to visualize the flow of the tasks. Okay, it's not mandatory to have roles and events like Scrum Master, blah blah blah. Yeah, so Kanban doesn't have any roles, it doesn't have any sprint, you know, but Scrum can actually use Kanban within the sprint as well, you know, to visualize the flow. Okay, so I have this YouTube video which is from Atlassian. We're gonna see what did they do. Okay,
Kanban is a work management system designed to help you visualize your work, limit work in progress, and maximize efficiency, which we call flow. Kanban is the Japanese word for visual signal. With so many of us working in services and technology, oftentimes our work is invisible or intangible. Kanban helps you visualize your work so you can understand it better, show it to others, and keep everyone on the same page. Most teams realize this benefit by building a Kanban board, filling it with Kanban cards, and setting up a work in progress limit. I'm Max. I'm a product marketing manager on Jira Software, and I'm naturally kind of a chaotic person. I seem to always find myself in fast-paced environments. I've been on really dysfunctional teams, and in the past been in dysfunctional organizations. The number of times that I've seen Kanban kind of bring method to the madness, to change the culture of the organization, and just help me get work done, has me basically shouting from the rooftops about Kanban. So I actually have a lot to say, and I've broken this conversation up into a series of videos all here on our YouTube channel. So the first thing that I would ask is that you subscribe to the channel so you can hear this whole conversation play out. I want to show you something. One of my favorite things about Kanban is that Kanban starts with what you do now. This is actually one of the Kanban principles. Another being that Kanban respects current roles and responsibilities exactly the way that they are today. You simply apply the Kanban methodology to how you currently work. Another Kanban principle is that Kanban encourages acts of leadership from all levels. It's on the team to work together to make Kanban work for you. Now, if those principles are something you can get excited about, then you might want to start by making a Kanban board. So this is what I wanted to show you. It's a Kanban board that I built to visualize all the concepts we're covering in this video series. I just finished talking about the Kanban principles, and it's important that I started on the right side of the board here. Kanban is a pull system, which means when you have bandwidth, you look to the left and pull cards from left to right. Since I have bandwidth now, I'm ready to start my discussion of Kanban boards. Kanban boards like this one can be built on walls, windows, whiteboards, or with a suite of digital tools like Trello and Jira. Their purpose is to categorize all the stages of work that a work item flows through from something you haven't started to something that's done. This is called a workflow. You'll notice that each stage in the workflow has its own column, and our workflow is super simple. Your workflow might be more complex, but I'd encourage you to start as simple as possible. You can always add more columns later. So for now, I'm done with this quick explanation of Kanban boards. I'm going to take this card from something I'm doing to something that's done. Since I have bandwidth again, I'm ready to move a card from today into doing. Let's kick off our discussion of Kanban cards. For the Agile software developers among us, cards should be a familiar concept. You can think of them as one Kanban card per user story. For the rest of us, we can just back up. You can think of Kanban cards as being work items. One card per work item. You want to make cards for all the things you're working on and place them in the appropriate stage of the workflow. Kanban cards should have a title and a description and an owner. You can also add any other helpful information like a due date. Then your card should start to gain a little bit of a history as your team leaves updates on the card as it moves from one stage of the workflow to the other. The Kanban cards should be small enough that your team can make progress on them in a reasonable amount of time. You don't want them so large that it'll take you weeks to move the card forward, and you don't want them so small that it's literally every task that you're working on. Can you imagine how chaotic your board would be if it was every task your team was working on? You want to avoid that. Once you build a board and you fill it with cards, you'll start to realize one of the key benefits of Kanban. You'll see columns that start to bunch up, revealing a bottleneck in your workflow. You'll also get a sense of what size cards your team can move forward in a timely manner. These efficiencies we like to call flow, and Kanban is built to help teams flow work better from the backlog to done. Once you understand flow, you can start to measure it. Kanban teams concern themselves with lead time, which is the time that it takes for a card to flow through your workflow from when you start working on it to when you're done. It's in the hands of the customer. And with that, I feel done with my conversations about lead time, and thanks to this board that I built, I actually know that I'm done. I have visual assurance that I've done all the things that I set out to do in this video. It's a good feeling.
All right. I think yeah, so the key point here which is really good, what is the lead time? So that means you can plan it at once as well, like how long does it take that you're gonna finish everything for the whole workflow. Okay, and just a recap, and this is a typical Kanban board. We often use this one with there are lots of software tools that can support the Kanban board like Trello, Jira, or GitHub or GitLab as well. You can create the Kanban board. Okay, and basically there are 5 columns. Okay, the backlog, to do, doing, testing, and the done. Okay, yep, and that's it. Yeah, basically this is a pull system. You create a card in the backlog. What are the things that you need to do? Okay, put into the to do. What are you are doing at the moment, move to the doing. Once it is ready for testing, then move to the testing, and then once you finish the testing, then you can move to the done. And then at the end, you can then you know what are the then you know whether you complete all the tasks or the work items or not. Okay. So the question from the Zoom chat is that, is this something like a waterfall thing or not, right? Okay. I think I would say that it is quite similar. I would say that waterfall is sequential. Kanban is also sequential because we start from the backlog to do, doing, testing, and done. But the difference is that the waterfall focus on the activities that need to be done. For example, the requirement, implementation, that kind of thing. Okay. But the Kanban board only focus on the status of the tasks that need to be done. Okay. What are the things in the backlog? What are the things in the to-do? What are the things that are doing? What are the things during the testing? What are the things that have been done? Okay, so Kanban only focus on the status of the work item, but not the what are the activities as part of the software development that need to be done. Okay, it is different. So another question is that, is it more like a Scrum in an infinite sprint? Yes, that's right. So that's why if we go back, to the Scrum, all right? I would say that, we can technically say that during the sprint backlog, we also use the Kanban inside as well to visualize the tasks or the work items that need to do for each of the sprint, So, yep. That's right, okay. Yeah. Okay. Move on to this one. Yep. And Kanban can also be used in the manufacturing, Toyota production line. It's not just about the software development, but this is an example of what happened in the software development. During the backlog, there are a bunch of the user stories who are assigned to it, Mr. TK, that kind of thing. So no, sorry, not Mr. TK. This is the task, okay, the task that are associated with the user story, that kind of thing. Okay, so you can move along, about what you are doing and what are the things that need to be done. Okay, this is a real world Kanban board for the Mozilla software, Mozilla Firefox. Okay, this is from the GitHub projects. Okay, so they have the backlog. There are lots of bugs that need to be fixed. Next up is like the to-do list. What are the next thing that they need to do, what is in progress, and what is done. Okay, yep. All right, this is the real world example. And what else? Yeah, and that's all. Okay, in summary, today we talk about the Agile manifesto. We talk about the Scrum and the Kanban. Okay, now inside the Scrum, okay, there are 4 Agile ceremonies. Okay, this is the previous figure that I showed you before. The 4 ceremonies here is first the sprint planning, second one daily Scrum, third one sprint review, and sprint retrospective. Okay, remember, in Scrum framework, there are 4 Agile ceremonies. Ceremonies is like meeting. Nothing. They just use a fancy word called ceremonies. Okay. And then what do they need to do during the meeting? Here is that first, during the sprint planning, they need to craft the sprint goal and a plan to achieve it. Okay. What are the sprint backlog, that kind of thing. And then for every day, daily Scrum, they review the team progress on sprint goal, adjust the plan to get there. At the end of the sprint, that's called a sprint review. They want to review the work completed in the sprint with the stakeholder. Okay, and then after they finish the whole sprint, they do the sprint retrospective to review the product development process, focus on the process. Okay, to identify areas for improvement. Yep, another question in the Zoom chat, is daily Scrum the same as the stand-up meeting? Yes, it is the same. Okay, it's a stand-up meeting, daily Scrum is the same. All right. And when you do the sprint planning, so I'm gonna zoom in here. Okay, zoom into this part, sprint planning. How do we do the sprint planning, right? We need to craft the sprint goal and make a plan. The plan here, it means that you need to prioritize. What are the things that you need to do now or do it later? Okay, that's the prioritization. And the common framework that we use for the prioritization here is called Moscow framework. Okay, so there are 4 values here, 4 levels of the prioritization. The first one is must have, should have, could have, and won't have. All right, so must have, it means that this is non-negotiable. This is something that we need to be done. This is a minimum viable product. That's what I mentioned to you before. Okay, for example, we want to develop the e-shopping e-commerce system. Compare between the login system and the shopping cart system. Which one is a must have? Can we have the shopping cart without the login system and we still call it an e-commerce system? Yes, right? But if we have the login system without the shopping cart, can we call it an e-commerce system? No. Okay, so that's why we need to do the task prioritization effectively. Must have, okay, non-negotiable, minimum viable product, unable to deliver the end product without this. Okay, it is not legal with it. It is unsafe without it. Without this project is not viable at all. Make sense, everyone? Should have, important but not vital. Okay, may be painful to leave out, but the solution is still viable, right? May need some kind of workaround, that kind of thing. Let's say think about the login. Okay, login. Do you think that what is the prioritization for the login feature? Can you type in the Zoom chat? Is it like must have? Is it should have? Is it could have? Is it won't have? Which one? I mean login for the online shopping. Can I purchase something without the login feature? Can I purchase as a guest? Do you think that the login feature is the minimum viable product or the feature, the key feature of the e-commerce system or not? You know? Yeah. So I would say that in this case, I would say it should be should have, you know, because think about the eBay, okay? Let's say everyone use eBay. Can you do the online shopping without the login? Yes, you know, you can purchase as a guest. Can you buy like you know, some gift card as a guest? Yes, you know, you don't really need to have like a membership, that kind of thing. Okay, so yeah, or it can even be like a could have, you know, desirable but not as important as should have. Yeah, only do if there is extra time and budget. Yeah, that's right. Let's say you have only 2 weeks to deliver the e-commerce system. Would you implement the shopping cart first or the login first? Right, think about that. So it should be the shopping cart, not the login. All right, okay. And won't have, that means won't have this time around at all. It is out of budget. It is nice to have but has no real impact. That means when you talk about the task prioritization, you should focus on the values to the customer. Does the login feature deliver any values of the e-commerce system, right, compared to the shopping cart? Okay. Another question, what if someone just want to buy 1 or 2 things as a guest? That's right? So it can be just like could have, you know, it doesn't need to, you know, like how can I say, it's not a must, you know, unless this is an e-commerce system that is really specific to the alcohol liquor, which requires ID, you know, the proof of ID, that kind of thing. That becomes the login feature becomes the must-have feature. Okay, so it really depends on the scope. That's why you need to have a realistic understanding of the context of the software system that you develop, and also the negotiation skill to deal with the customer. Okay, this is an excellent prioritization framework. Okay, must have, should have, could have, and won't have. You need to prioritize the tasks or the user stories in your project as well. Okay, yeah. So once you do the sprint planning, right, next one you need to do the sprint review. So basically you set up a meeting, it is actually take place at the end of the sprint. It could last like a 2-week sprint, and then an hour per week, you know, that kind of thing, and then everyone has to attend. Okay, and then you review the product, right? Okay, so basically when you present the product to the stakeholder, they need to define whether this is approved or partially approved or reject, right? For each of the user story. That's why for each of the user story, you need to come up with what is the definitions of done, what is considered as done. Okay, so you need to define that. Yep. Yeah, that's how do you conduct the sprint review. Yep, done. That's what I mentioned to you before. You need to define what is the definitions of done. You finish the implementation. It doesn't mean that it is actually finished, but it must meet the definitions of done and accepted by the end user to consider that the user story is done. Okay. Yep. Yep. So you do the conduct the sprint review. I'm gonna go through this one quickly, and then this is the what you should not do during the sprint review. Okay. The first thing is that some teams treat the sprint review as an acceptance meeting, like a formal occasion where the client representative, the stakeholder, or the PO sign off on the completion of a milestone. It's not, right? It's not. Sprint review, we want to deliver the working software, but it doesn't mean that it is really the best version. It's not like, you know, it is just working, you know, and then it doesn't mean that it is a complete milestone, that kind of thing. So it's not like that. This is the red tape, you know. What else? Yeah. So if you really need a sign-off meeting, schedule a longer time box with only PO, Scrum Master, and the client representative. What it means is that during the sprint review, what you need to do is to present, okay, what you present the working software products. But whether they accept it, they want to sign off the meeting, they want to do the milestone completion, that kind of thing, it should be another meeting, okay? Because here, do we need the developers as part of the milestone sign off? No, right? So it's not really the purpose of the sprint review, okay? Make sense? Another not to do during the sprint review is the broken demo, okay? So ideally, again, back to the Agile manifesto, we focus on the working software, not the broken software, right? So when you present something during the demo, it should be working well, executed well, no bug, that kind of thing, right? And the client should see the UI element as well, that kind of thing. The functionality should be completed. This can raise unreasonable expectation for future pace of the development. Let's say if you cannot complete something, right? Then it will raise some questions as well. Yeah. Okay. But what happens if the stakeholders hate your product, right? It is possible. Let's say we develop something, we have the UX, UI ready, but they don't like it at all, okay? How can we fix things, okay? The second bullet here, I say that it is actually a good thing, not a bad thing, okay? When they hate the product, it means that there is an opportunity to fix things, right? So, following the Agile manifesto, we don't want to prevent any mistake, okay? We welcome change in the requirement, and at least I mentioned to you before with the startup principles, you know, you need to fail fast. So you fail sooner, you know sooner that this is something that they don't like, okay? But when we know the problem, we should start thinking about how to fix it, okay? And if the problem cannot be fixed, the project is a write-off. It's the best to find out that before we can waste later time, okay? So what I mean is that when we know the problems, we should try to fix it. And for the end user, for the stakeholder, it's not just a, yeah, I don't like it. You need to be, you need to ask them to be constructive as well. Like, you know, yes, if you don't like it, so what are the things that you envision that you want to see, that kind of thing. So you should ask questions to find a solution rather than just only the problem, you know, okay? So this is about the skill that the product owner should deal with the stakeholder, okay? Okay, once you finish the sprint review, the last thing of the Agile ceremonies is the retrospective, okay? And the retrospective is the last event of the sprint. The team gathers together to decide what to improve. As I mentioned to you before, there are two questions. What went well in the sprint? How can we improve things in the matter, in the next iteration, that kind of thing, okay? All right, yep. So during the retrospective, right, there are a few steps that need to be done. For example, first, we can do like individual reflection. Yeah, at the meeting, before the meeting, you should spend like 15 minutes to note down what worked for you this sprint, what didn't work for you, and what should be the concrete suggestion to improve in the future. And what you should try to avoid is just to raise the complaint, okay? This is not good, this is not good, this is not good, but you don't suggest anything, you know? This is not a good way to think. Yeah, it's not a good mindset at all, okay? Second, you can share information. Oh yeah, I also found this, which is really good from the internet. You want to share this kind of thing within the team, okay? This is a good practice during the sprint retrospective as well. You can brainstorm the improvement, you know, what should be improved in the future. Velocity is a kind of like measure during the sprint as well, whether you are doing it good pace or not, okay? So I'm gonna do it quickly. Yep. Anyway, all right, let's go back to the poll EV again, okay? I'm aware of the time. Yep. What is next? Should be the Kanban. Yep, that's right. What is the meaning of the Kanban? Okay, back to the poll EV again. Okay, so the answer, yeah, let's go to the answer. I hope you don't answer a type of martial art, okay? Yep, so the correct answer, the meaning of the Kanban should be, it is actually a Japanese term meaning the visual signal or the card. That's the meaning of the Kanban. But what exactly is the Kanban? It is the project management, agile project management methodology. You know, okay? All right. It's a bit tricky, yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's the meaning of the Kanban, the visual signal card. What is the primary objective of the Kanban? Okay. The primary objective of the Kanban. All right. Next, so the answer should be the A. Okay, to maintain a sustainable workflow. Yep. Because Kanban, you have the columns and you have the what is the work limit? Okay, work limit in progress, that kind of thing. So each column should have a limit, and then that will create a sustainable workflow because you will not be like overwork and you know that kind of thing. Okay. Yep. Next. In Kanban, what does the term WIP stand for? What is that? Easy. Okay, let's take a look at the answer. Should be work in progress. Yep. That's right. Okay, so majority of the students get it right. WIP, that's a work in progress. Okay, not the work in progress, not the other choice at all. Okay, next. Yep. What is the significance of visualizing work in Kanban? What is purpose? Yeah. Why it is so important? Yep. What is that? Why? Okay, so I'm gonna review the answer now. Should be all of the above. Okay, so Kanban actually helps team identify the bottlenecks, you know, because visualize the flow of the tasks, and then we discuss like whether you know what is the bottleneck, what that kind of thing, and it enhances the communication among the team members as well. It provides the transparency into the workflow. Definitely, that's why the correct answer should be all of the above. Okay. Next, which of the following is not a core principle of Kanban? Which one is not, okay, a core principle? Okay, so we now get roughly 30. Okay, so let's review the answer. Should be implement the strict deadline. All right. Okay, that's the right answer because the Kanban we never have a deadline. We only focus on the flow. Okay, and there's no strict deadline, and you don't need to change the answer. That's okay. All right, next. Next one. Which of the following is not a category in the Moscow method? Okay. When you do the prioritization, you know, as you remember, which one is not? Yeah. There are 4, but which one is not? Okay. Answer it quickly. Speedy quiz, you know. So today we actually have 22 questions. Now we are on 18, so a few more and then we will finish. 29. Yep, let's see the correct answer. The answer is would have, right? Yeah. That's a tricky one. Oh, thank you. Okay. Most of you got it right. Well done. Okay. I'm so excited. What is the right answer? Should be won't have. Okay, won't have is one of the Moscow method. Okay, not would have. All right, next. Which category in the Moscow method represents requirements that are crucial for the project success? Oh, so easy. So easy. All right. Okay, try to get the answers by 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make yourself challenge. Okay. Yep. The answer. What is that? Crucial for the project success. Must have. Definitely. There's nothing else. Click. Yep. Yep. Okay. Very crucial. Okay. So must have. All right. Next. Which category in the Moscow method represents requirements that won't be implemented in the current project iteration but could be considered for the future? What is that? Very fun. Okay, let's try to get 30. Go, 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 go. So, okay, question. Which categories in the Moscow method represents requirements that won't be implemented in the current project iteration but could be considered for the future? Could have, definitely. Easy. Yep, okay. It's not should have, okay, because could be considered for the future, right? It's not won't have. Won't have means we will not consider anything. It is out of scope, okay? It will never happen, okay? All right, nearly the last question, you know, what is a software contract? Okay, I actually need to teach something in the lecture slide, but anyway, let's say we don't need to teach. Like from your opinion, what is that? What is a software contract? What is that? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna review the answer now. I'm so excited. What is the answer? Should be B-boy, okay? Oh, A. Yeah, okay. So it should be A. That's a software contract, okay? Yep. and I think there are a few things that in the slide maybe you can check later as well. So okay, the last question. Okay, what do you think about the lecture today? Yeah, thank you so much for your positive response. Okay, really appreciate. And then last thing, okay, I want to emphasize is that I'm gonna keep the survey open. One second. Okay, back to this one. Yep. Okay, activate. Yep. So in the meantime, all right, just want to advise everyone that assessment one is already available in the ED STEM. You just go to the ED STEM and then you should see it. Okay, there are two main tasks that you need to do. Okay, first you analyze the business requirement, the client requirement, and for this semester it's about Monash Wellness class booking system. And what you need to do, analyze the requirement. We will talk about the requirement engineering and the requirement analysis in the next 2 weeks. You need to analyze the requirement, create the user stories, acceptance criteria, write the user story, write the acceptance criteria. You need to know how to use the Trello, okay, and say what is this feature, what is the user story, blah blah blah, you know. And you need to design the digital prototype using the Lucid chart. And then on week 5 of your apply session, you need to have the presentation, and it should not exceed 10 minutes. All right. And this is the focus of the presentation. You should focus on the digital prototype, the high level flow of the application, how it aligns with the client requirement. You should pick up one example user story and present the acceptance criteria together with the UI. And then you should present how your prototype align with the usability design principles, that kind of thing. Okay. The submission you need to submit in Moodle. Okay. That kind of thing. And then just want to emphasize that the submission is by the end of the week 4. Okay. Friday, the end of the week 4. But the presentation will be on week 5. Make sense? This is a group work, group assessment. So that means just want to remind everyone, try to form a group by the end of this week. Okay. Otherwise, we will randomly assign you, and then we will not accept any late complaints. Okay. All right. Any other questions from everyone? Any other questions? Yep. For the UI, what does it mean? Is that some mockup? Yes. It will be a mockup. And what I want to say, one more thing is that the project requirement, we will focus on the text-based program. You don't need to have like a fancy UI, that kind of thing, you know. Will the assignment presentation be individual? No, everything is a group here. Okay. Yeah, it is a group presentation. Yep, it is a group presentation. Yep. 10 minutes. Yeah. Use Google Slide, easy. Each team member must contribute to the presentation slide. Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay. So if you have other questions, feel free to ask during the apply session, or you can post a question in the ED as well. Okay. All right. So I hope you enjoyed the rest of the week. And yeah, that's all. This is the end of the week 2 lecture, and I will see you again next week. Okay, week 3. Yeah, bye bye.